So in this video, I wanted to basically explain how calculated poisoning can work as far as like all the other psychological torture and abuse that a person can receive. You know, coming from people that are going to basically be like, no one will ever love you. No one will ever support you. You can't play up a victim. Or nobody likes a victim and all this stuff that these men actually were like with me. You know, I'm basically making it as though I didn't have right to think for myself. I didn't have right to go outside of the realms of what they wanted to basically control within my life. As if, like I just didn't have the right to be me, myself. You know, like me basically suggesting how about this? Like I don't like what happened growing up and I don't want to be anything like that. And instead of them allowing me to move away from that, they would psychologically damage me physically, mentally, emotionally, and then just torture me basically. So I can't suggest to myself that it's right, like that it's legal. You know what I'm saying? Legal, regal, beagle, deagle. No, it's not. It has nothing to do with anything that the laws themselves that are written, the written ones, support. Even if they move away from it, you know, is to suggest that there's still truths to be met. You see what I'm saying? And basically, what I'm saying there is that even if the medical staff or the police or the FBI or the governments and all of their agency that they supposedly have over a targeted person in this level, even if they don't see the truth and that person dies without that truth being exposed for what actually happened to them, it doesn't matter what the media says or what they say, what the medical industry says, or any of that crap. What matters is that there's still truth underneath their their narrative, or their story about what was happening. So I'm not going to try and support the claims of mind control or like, you know, demonic possession necessarily, but I believe in the demonic possession. I believe that people themselves can leave themselves, their vessel, their bodies, as an open door to hate crimes, to, uh, being willing to poison someone up or psychologically harm someone or use manipulation, witchcraft, sorcery, biological control, poisons, hacking, uh, controlling their life. I agree to the fact that these things are demonic and the people that they are coming from harness demons like envy, Delilahs, Jezebels, pythons, leviathans, and these monitoring spirits. And so, either way, whether or not a person agrees with the concept of demonic possession, I believe that it's a clear difference between the demonically possessed people that want to put hate crimes on people, pull up to, you know, little kids' lemonade stands, for an example, and steal away their lemonade money so they can go buy drugs and feel good about themselves for being sociopaths, just completely abusive and, behaviors that you can see in the real world, right? And so it's funny to me because there is that story online where someone really did that, and because the family had faith and they just believed, like, well, Let's just have faith that we don't want to quit. We want to go out there and do this again. And then it was like the police, the fire marshal, everyone in the city, everyone just came together because they knew the story. And because everyone came together, I think they raised somewhere up over 40 grand. And it's like, well, gee, I've been having like my whole life stolen away from me. And I think it's a little bit more than, you know, I get it. They're kids, and I'm like an adult now, but I was a kid, and it was the same kind of theft over weird ways, but all throughout my life, and that's what I'm trying to explain. So it's not just like my lemonade money; it's my working at a grocery store money, working at a diner money, working at McDonald's money, working to try and even perform in school, uh, my own sense of self and my own reality of my mind because they were poisoning me. I know what I was feeling now after this many times of poisoning me. So when people want to be like, oh, it's delusional persecution and just going around the facts, it doesn't mean that there's not facts to still be spotted and seen within a very heartless crime, mind you. And so I don't want to explain how the harmful events couldn't be as harmful as they could to the human body or how the mind works. I do want to get at those facts, but what's more important is the safety and the clarity that I can explain within what the arsenic actually did within my reality or what it does in reality to a person and what it doesn't do. And so, what I want to also explain as well is that just because you're explaining an arsenic poisoning in reality, like how it medically kind of would affect a person, it doesn't mean that there's not other things being used besides arsenic against me, because there was, like, someone very close to me, growing up, within my own family brought me a drink, and I drink it and I'm like, throat's closing up, and it's like, why would you do that? Then all of a sudden my mind is erased from me from being able to know what even happened. You see what I mean? Like the reasoning of what I had for 15, 20 minutes or half hour to an hour or whatever was there, and all of a sudden it's just your brain can't cope. Your brain can't prioritize the memory of what just happened. And so, as far as I'm concerned, that's mind control. So the ideas of mind control and demonic possession, in my experience, are true. In the medical system, they are false. They're not recognized as a possibility of this kind of crime. The only possibility of this kind of crime that you can find in the world, as far as what I've found, is in horror movies like Stockholm. And what Stockholm experienced is very horrific. But that's the only place that you can actually find it medically positive. As far as your eyes on a silver screen, playing it back to you, playing it in your mind, as far as it being a horror story. But the fact of the matter is that that horror story that you saw is actually real. It's not fake. It can be faked, it can be performed, it can be a performance of actors. But the fact of the matter is that within the story, it's actually real. So it often shows up when someone is in extreme duress, trauma, exhaustion, illness, just sick, and in sick ways. So I'm going to speak about it because it's all based on facts. So what arsenic poisoning does in real documented effects include severe gastrointestinal pain, so burning stomach, vomiting, and diarrhea, which I've experienced, dehydration, extreme dehydration, which I've experienced. I always needed something to drink everywhere I'd go. Nerve damage, numbness, tingling, and weakness, which I experienced, like fatigue beyond fatigue. Like, I don't even know at times how I managed to stand up and hold myself up to run parts through a chem film, for an example, at ITI. So next is the fatigue and confusion. Yeah, it is very confusing. You're fatigued beyond fatigued, and you're just like lost off in your reality, lost up. Like, what is happening to me? Why is this happening to me? I need to figure this out. I can feel something's happening to me down to my bones, and I just can't think. It's confusion. It's frustration. It's so painful. And then on top of it, you have heart rhythm disturbances, where it's like you get these palpitations. And then they put you on a stress test, for an example. Sure, it might help release some of the toxins because you sweat, right? But the heart rhythm disturbances are so hardcore that you literally feel like because you can't breathe, can't focus, you're feeling blindsided inside of a crime that you know is happening to you. You just can't think things through. No availability of reason. And these heart disturbances, it's like, oh my God, I'm going to die. I'm going to die this way. You know? And then organ damage, especially your liver and kidneys. So, kidney stones, liver unable to filter out the toxicity that's in your body. And then chronic exposure can create hair loss, skin changes, and neuropathy. I've had literally areas of my body that literally couldn't grow hair at times on my legs. I still have them. Whereas other areas, I had them, and then all of a sudden I was able to grow hair again. And it's really weird. But the skin changes would be like warts out of nowhere, as a kid especially. But I believe that those type of things just ended up being inside of my body. Another thing is like your nail beds. The moon, the half moon goes way up here, and you have lines going this way through your fingernails, where it's like they're thick. They're really thick because your nails are literally where toxins come out of. That's the only reason we have nails on our fingers, is because this is all junk in our body. And it's how our bodies release junk. So you can think of like pulling stuff out of your body. You see what I mean? Kind of like sweating. But I got those moons that were like very raised. And then on top of it, the corners of my nails, like here in the corner, would be like like an ooze coming out. Like, and more than just one place, like 3 or 4 places at the same time. And I don't know if you can see this nail. I don't know if I can even show you. But you can see this line right here. That's what I'm talking about. You get these lines in your hand, in your fingernails. Now the moons are down here. Before they were like, instead of them reaching up to there, they were like going up to like here or here. And that was another explanation of an arsenic poisoning that I found online. Okay? Not to mention everything else that I just mentioned, where I wouldn't have even had reasoning skills to be able to vocalize or articulate this well. But the key points here is that arsenic damages your nervous system. it's not like it selectively programs it, but it damages your neural pathways, so your nervous system is changed. So another thing that I found is it helps to create obesity. It helps to it's because it's like toxins stored in your fat cells, and it, when it's not stored in your fat cells, it goes into your brain. That's where the main. That's why there's toxic metals in the air. That's why they want aluminum, barium, strontium, all these metals inside of our food supply and inside of the air, and that's why they're spraying our skies, because they want us to breathe these things in. And it's not just that, but these nanoparticulates that work with our biofilms in the body, they work with parasites in the body, and they work with these metals in the body that determine and create they're like self-replicating in our body, not just the parasites, but the technology that they used for mind control. And so people can think whatever they want. I'm not telling you what to think, I'm just telling you what I've personally found. So it doesn't create a hypersexualized drive. It doesn't create control of your thoughts and decisions. It doesn't implant behaviors. It doesn't cause obedience or suggestibility to mind control, is what it says. It doesn't create alternative personalities or cause demonic possession or external control. But on the contrary to this rating here, on the contrary, with you experiencing gaslighting, psychological manipulation, torture, control over your love life, keeping you poisoned, proxying your relationships, proxying abilities to take you out of your job, them calling your job and saying if you keep them on the payroll, something really bad's going to happen to you in a voice changer or something, and then hanging up. Do you think your employer is going to want to keep you on that payroll? No. Do you think that you'll be the common denominator out? Yeah. Why is that? Well, even if you're working hard, they don't want to risk their own lives to save yours. You see? So you'll be moved out as fast as they can get you out. So the idea of poison-based mind controls feels very real to people when someone is emotionally and mentally exhausted, because you feel like you've just been working nonstop for years on end until you're just at your wits' ends. Literally, I put it in my mind, I'm against a warfare that I can't see. It's all happening covertly. I need to figure this out, and I need a lot of money if I'm going to be able to go forwards in my life. So I literally was trying to work for three of me. If I couldn't work for three of me, I at least had to work for two of me, which means an average day is 8 hours. I needed to work 16 hours and then just sleep. Only 3 or 4 hours. Get up and do it again. 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 And on top of that, to work out what was placed upon my body, which I believe was parasites, not a delusional parasitosis like they say, was legitimately so that I could get up, rollerblade, get up, do laundry, rollerblade, go to work, get back home, put my bed together, go rollerblade, come back, shower, go to bed, multiple showers, multiples of me making juicing, doing different juices to try and release the stuff from my body or attack the parasites within my body holistically, and at the same time make my own soap so that I could attack what was happening to my body. So I was mentally and physically and emotionally exhausted. Inside of physical pain, dizzy, feeling very unwell, under financial stress and strain, emotionally isolated, and carrying long-term trauma within my body. And so the brain, the mind itself, enters inside of a threat detection. in an interpretation mode. So you're interpreting the threats as real, no matter what anyone wants to tell you, no matter what you're reading, no matter what you're seeing. You're just trying to find the truth through what you're reading, what you're seeing, what you're studying, what you're writing. And in that state, a normal body symptoms feels, anything normal, I'd say, in your body feels like it could be external or internal in your body. On top of it, it can feel intentional coming from somewhere, which in my case, it was. The pain feels like it's being done to you rather than it's just happenstance, which is true in my case. Next is the intrusive thoughts through the hypervigilant state of mind that I was born into without the availability of vocalizing what was actually happening to me in my reality. Left me in a hypervigilant, hypersexualized, hyper-traumatized place of my body being 3 years old, 4, 5, 6 years old. You know what I'm saying? And so the mind looks for the agency behind what you're suffering with. Even if you can't vocalize it, your mind is on overdrive, trying to figure out what's happening. But it really internally means that your nervous system is on overload. Next is the hypersexualized drive, specifically because in reality, sexual dysregulation is commonly associated with stress hormones, so the cortisol and your adrenaline levels spiking, which is true. Okay, so that's where I pine back, or I draw back to the fact that there's no mind control involved. No, it's very about mind control. Without sexualizing my life and without having the rape happening in my life to my sister from my dad, and without them hypersexualizing my brothers and hyper fucking up my brothers in order to work this way against me, there wouldn't be mind control. There wouldn't have been. I would have been able to live a normal kid life, but I didn't get a normal kid life. I didn't get a normal development inside of my life, because when you're a young person and your young mind, your mind can't reason through the intentions of other people. You think that because they smile in your face and they seemingly are there for you doesn't mean that they actually are. They can hide intentions. And if people want to fucking fight me on that fucking matter, well, God, look at all of the intentions that are happening in the world right now. You can't suggest to me that there's not intentions behind these criminality, or these criminals working in this criminality. Next is sleep deprivation, chronic pain, trauma activation, certain medications, how they can coincide with a very calculated poisoning. Next is depression, anxiety cycling, where they don't have any like special pill for oppression, but that's what it is. So next is like the dopamine imbalance from the stress. So sure, like these stressors created through oppression doesn't suggest that all of a sudden a dopamine or a inhibitor of some kind of pill is going to make the oppression go away. And that's what I ran into 12 years ago or whatever. I like legitimately wanted to like just detoxify. Like I don't want the chemical in my body of whatever's in that pill, because whatever's happening to me in my reality, in my environment, in my family, in my life, I need to figure out first before taking some kind of medication from a system that's just literally try to push you onto these things. So I didn't want it. If you ask me, it's witchcraft, because it's manipulating you to think that your brain has something wrong with your brain, your actual brain, when we'll get that thing and put it on my head and actually do a brain scan and see if it's colorful. If you can't do that, And you can't prove to me that my brain activity is all like gray matter and black and dark and white spots. If it's not just gray matter, and you're not able to actually prove to me that there's not color going on in my brain, then sure, I'll take your fucking stupid pill. But I'm not gonna fucking take your stupid pill by you just suggesting to me that I have a chemical imbalance in my brain. No, I have a chemical balance in my body and brain from what these people are doing to me, sure, but I'm not going to take another substance when it's literally witchcraft to manipulate people. That's manipulation. And manipulation is witchcraft. So it's the fact that the important keys here is the physical pain, the dizziness, the exhaustion, the fear of what these people were doing to me, and wanting to get away from them before it took over my life. Because I couldn't see these things at a young age, and I suggested to myself, I need to run away from home, and I need to run away from home now, or this experience that you're going through is going to be your whole life. And then I tried to run away. Police took me back. Next thing you know, I'm poisoned up, having my bags packed, looking at my bags packed, like, what's going on here? Like you literally can't even reason with yesterday, let alone 2 hours ago, after being poisoned. And so when I have many of these experiences since then, to get away from Syndicate and get away from these people that were poisoning me, no one can tell me that it's not about mind control and about controlling my life and controlling my reality, controlling my love life, controlling my work life, controlling my ability to get away from them, controlling my social life, controlling me for the identity thievery that they were working within to do, including stealing away my money, blinding me with this poison so they could move all of my writing money onto a special NTF, non-fungible token, that was not just Bitcoin, where I wanted to leave it in Bitcoin, literally. And it's like he didn't let me. Oh, if you don't want my help, don't ever ask for my fucking help again. Just like berating me. Just the same way as like him telling me when I was younger, I'm gonna make you wish that you were never born. Well, good for you. You were such a fucking dickhead. So the difference between being demonically possessed and being cursed is that these people have allowed that spirit to take over their actions and behaviors towards another person. And the person that it's towards is a curse, where that curse can feel like it's literally you being possessed. And so that's where I believe the mind control comes into play, because no, arsenic alone probably can't manipulate a person's behaviors. But the fact of the matter is that through all of the things that happened to me, all of them stacked up on top of each other, is mind control. You see what I'm saying? It's mind control, it's financial control, it's sabotage on all levels. And that literally is control. It's like these things affected your reality. And so while I've been under emotional strain, extreme pain, my body hurting all over, my mind searching for some kind of meaning behind all of the suffering that I was going through, I was in need of relief. I was in need of rest. I was in need of support. But instead of getting any of those things at times that I really needed them, these people would utilize the stress that they knew I needed rest to attack me more. They knew I needed their relief, so they would come up and act like they were the relief, but just to push the poison in my face in a way that I wouldn't have been able to see it because I trusted them. And then you're in need of support, but they aren't supporting you. They're supporting their own will to perform a crime over you, which is not supporting you. It's leaving you in a position to have to analyze the danger, the stranger danger that you are in, the strangest, most harshest danger that I think a person can deal with, mind you. Like, instead of me being 50 grand ahead or 150 grand ahead, I'm like in the hole because of what these people did to me to sabotage my fucking life and sabotage my fucking world. Then these people want to play as if these people of the police want to play as if having an admittance to the crime itself, having admittance and all of the things that I've reported on as well, dealing with this crime and these people coming into my house, that it doesn't suggest for enough probable cause to go after the people that were doing the crime to me. No, you have enough probable cause. If you do a little bit of ethical hacking to the very unethical hacking in general, you will find a syndicate. You will find these people within syndicate working up in a horrible mission against me. But without any of that happening, you're literally allowing murder. You're not protecting a person from attempted murder. You're allowing that murder to take place. And then on top of it, it's spiritually murdering me. It's murdering my character. It's murdering my ability to work. It's murdering my ability to love and be loved in return. It's murder. Very cold and calculated murder. And then this is why we have the Second Amendment. So then they want to say that I don't have the right to speak out. Coming out of that long-standing poisoning, suggesting how I would swing a cup and it wouldn't hurt my cup, but it would hurt other people. And they want to make that a threat that isn't allowing me to get out of the syndicate, suggesting I want a new name and a social security number and fuck all you cucks working in a satanic ritual shit show. But then they're not willing to even do that. You see? So it's control. It's life control. You're not being given life support. You go in, you might need life support. For real, like, for real. And they're going to be like, delusional persecution or whatever the fuck. I'm sorry, but that's fucking heartless as fuck. So there's things that have gone on. Excuse me, I gotta drop down this menu here. There's things that have gone on that have been literally taking away from the perceptions that I could otherwise create for myself through this very biological control of my life. And then through the biopolitics, it's the power that affects the body, it's their power that affects my health, it's their power that affects my behavior, it's their power that affects my labor, it's their power that affects my ability to survive. And it leaves me inside of this framework of mind where it's like these trolls, for an example. They want to like constantly get you into reaction. They want to literally use your time and energy to just answer them. But I'm just like, I'm at the point, it's like, whatever, say whatever you want. I don't give a fuck. But it's like, that's what it's supposed to do, is push you into a reaction, right? To leave you inside of a mind that's so hard pressed to be able to vocalize what's actually happening to you. And it is very hard. It's very hard to do what I'm doing. And these people want to frame it as though it's just you alone, nothing else that could be done. But anyone with two spiritual eyes, enough within their own eyeballs to see the truth, can see that it takes a lot more than just one person alone to create this big of a mess all over somebody's life. You feel me? Do you feel me? At least I can feel that for myself. And so I don't care what these people want to say or suggest to. But I know that there's people out here that do understand it. That's the part that I'm getting at. Not only can they understand it for themselves because they know the crimes that they have been doing the whole time, which is why they need to deflect and minimize and be shitty, but the people that aren't trying to be shitty and they're actually trying to be nicely trying to figure things out. It's like, what is the truth here? You know, what has gone on here? I think that they can see that I'm not just coming out here with a speculation of the truth. I've been studying this covert warfare for a long time. So I have right to say that I take some authority to take that floor and let people know exactly what's been being done, especially when it's coming to my whole entire life and livelihood, my whole entire ability to even glow up. Like, sure, I can go walk and run and do everything I can do to try and glow up and smile bright again. But this is a lot of fucking pain, you guys. And anyone that can even suggest to a whole lifetime of that kind of pain, being poisoned up, maimed, tamed, basically mummified inside of your own life while you're just sitting there as like a mime inside of your mind, like trying to figure things out. And then once you do figure it out and it's coming from your own, that were sitting there smiling up in your face and pretending as if they fucking cared the whole entire time with hidden intentions that whole time. You're blindsided really bad. You're not gonna be able to smile. And that's not depression, G. That's oppression. That's like suggesting that a person can be bludgeoned in the back of the knife and somehow they're gonna be able to be alive. And then having these clowns be like, "Oh, there's no murder here. That's not a murder. They were really suicidal. They did a whole reach around on themselves. They were so suicidal. I don't even know how a person could do that, but." And then obviously being thrown like face down into a pond or whatever. Yeah. How did they get there? As well. I mean, there's so many questions that I have over I really put it in my mind about a specific holistic doctor that was legitimately curing diseases and doing wonderful things for people. And like, they legit, like, he was fine. Like, there's no way that this man was suicidal. And they suggest on national television that he committed suicide and he was like bludgeoned in the back, I think multiple times, and was face down in a pond. Or no, in a creek. Sorry. But it's like, oh, gee, how did you get there? Why would you choose that place to kill yourself? Ooh. You know, and these people actually believe the narrative on television, like that's controlled by these super cuckolding fucking satanics, statists, fucking psychological operators. I just don't see it, and I believe that people have two eyes physically, and I believe that they have two eyes metaphysically and spiritually. And if they use their spiritual eyes to really look into things, turn off your fucking televisions, for one. They're suggesting what it is, right with the name. Split it up. Tell, lie, vision. They're telling lies to your vision. Telling lies to your vision. And when you're watching the shows, it's television programming. Telling lies to your vision through programming. Programming. What could that mean? That's not mind control programming when they literally have patents on the colors and everything that they use for controlling people's minds, for mind control. Okay, so flip on your television and watch whatever, and you're not going to suggest to me that people aren't parodying what they see on television. I mean, literally, what? How can you like just skip past that fact? Okay, another way you could say it: you're watching a movie, and it's inducing like emotions and uh, like maybe some sadness, a sad part of a movie, or like up in your seat during the action packed stuff. It's controlling your physiology in a way where if that was off and you weren't watching that movie, your body would be corresponding and moving in a different way. So through the butterfly effect, or however you want to say it, through the grapevine of what you would have otherwise have done. Maybe you would have gone out and played baseball or gone out and shot hoops, or you would have put some rollerblades on and gone rollerblading, or maybe you would be working, like maybe without these things, we would be working in whole missions worldwide that are just super phenomenal, where we would all have supercars right now. Right now. No. 2025. Not going into 2026 going, oh, I hope this next year isn't like the last. Like, what? But that's just it. I don't think that people realize that their brains, their anatomy, their chemistry in their body has been being fucked with by mind control technologies. Even in up to including getting you to go to work, pay $528 at Walmart for a new flat screen TV, using energy that literally spins in the opposite direction as the free energy that happens when the lightning strikes. And they're creating these cell phone towers in the form of the flower of life. You can think whatever you want to, but if you study the flower of life, you will realize that everything, including our cells and DNA, grow in the flower of life, in the opposite direction of that in which energy from the false negative energy that you pay for is flowing in. So it's flowing in the opposite direction of the free energy that was already here. And they want to make you go to work for it, charge you for it, and then get you to pay for a whole bunch of shit to use it. It's about controlling your free agency. And if people didn't realize that they had free agency before all of this, then you're literally not seeing the point of what I would consider true life. Like kickball, soccer, football, having fun, creating games. Who knows? We probably would have, without all of this mind control technology, I think that people would be having so much fun in the world. There would probably be like 900,000 more games that would be like super fun, and people, you'd be like literally living it up with all of your neighbors in all of your neighborhoods. Shit, probably county, if not statewide. But no, people want to replace love with hate, or replace hate with love. They want hate crimes. They want to be like just a bunch of fucking super fucking whatever, just flawed, broken, like to the core of what humanity could otherwise be. But anyway, anyone that wants to have an actual conversation with me, like these trolls, like he can't answer his phone for me or my text messages and text with me, or like get into a normal, regular conversation with me. Don't podcast with me. Don't utilize their own faces, names, and images, and just create a YouTube channel for your fucking self and say what's on your fucking plate. You know what I'm saying? Instead, they just want to fucking deflect and minimize from my own ability to live. Period. They literally wanted to murder me. Covertly, sure, so that like you answer back and it just looks like you've gone nuts. But if they take another step forward in any kind of fucking physical fashion, I'm sorry, but these things that I'm talking about invokes the Second Amendment. And I'm not talking about a Second Amendment from their living constitution that's trying to supersede the original constitution, trying to suggest that, oh, we're mighty men and our mighty men give mankind their rights. No, you don't. The Lord up above gave me my rights, you dumb fuck. The Creator gave me my rights, not mankind. So I trust in the Lord. not man. And I suggest that for everyone else out here trying to study the truth, or if you care about the truth at all. Anyway, until next time, God bless and take care of yourselves. I'm going to peace out.